the Enterprise fans. Or evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is, I don't know. I'm Podrek. I'm one of your commentators today for this elimination match for the Lali-Ho League Swiss rounds between DShmoo619 and Dnarii. Hey, I say elimination because whoever loses here is mathematically not possible to go through to the bracket phase. The winner still needs to win once more, but that'll be decided next week. Like, on restream today we have Smoopy, and on our tracking we have Klopfer, and beside me we do have Lawmaster Motos. How are you today?
I'm pretty well metaphorically beside you here in the commentary booth, and as Podrek mentioned, both of these players are at 6 points, and you do need 10 points to continue, wins being worth 3. So there's only this round and next week remaining. So whoever wins today will have to either win or tie next week to move on to the bracket stage of the tournament. We have some good names here that the players are showing us. And the objectives today are more boss hunts, defeating the Dark Imps and defeating Mylon, the wildcard objectives.
Yeah, and we've got a Iridia start, and the normal objectives is of complete Cave Magnus, give us music, have Cockle forge the Legend Sword with the Adamant, give us the Excalibur, and trade away the Pinktail, give us a good item.
That's right. If you're new to the Lali-Ho League, or you are just needing a refresher, our players do need to complete 4 out of the 5 objectives in order to gain the crystal and be able to beat the game.
Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary there. If you've been following, if you're, as Motos said, if you're a bit new, follow along, ask questions, and I'm sure someone in chat will be more than happy to ask. As for us, we're going to follow on, and we're going to see a Sid start with this Iridia giving us a Magma Key.
Very nice to see Magma Key to start out with, knowing that you don't have to do the hook route to get underground to those juicy free key items. Sid's start is also extremely welcome, quite powerful in the early game, although our lack of gear here at the start is going to determine some things.
Yeah, we do have the recently created C Neki flag, which means the people, our characters are only going to start with a single item, a single weapon, and no armor. But with the Magma Key, with a lot of good locations in the underworld to actually just go and pick up some items, we're likely going to see a lot of looting down there.
We did see one of the freer bosses in Baron Castle as well, in the form of the Baron Guards, so we're going to have to look out for that later if we get a Baron Key.
Yeah, shouldn't be too bad. Magma Star actually gives a lot of things. One, there's the possibility of sirens being down in the underworld, so getting a few quick levels on this Iridia, free sirens worth of experience will give her virus, so a very early virus could make a lot of use in this early game.
Yeah, and DShmoo is kind of counting on something like that, it looks like, because DShmoo already went to the shop and sold some of the starting rune rings. Even with a 1/4 sell price, rune rings can net you quite a gain. So we can see that DShmoo is kind of counting on buying something underground.
Yeah, just checking the shop as well, because you wouldn't mind a little bit of extra items, 4 rages, a few extra life potions, star veils, Cure 2 items, and there's a few other goodies that could be in most shops. The underground is where the majority of the looting and the better items in the shops will be found, though. Especially here in the Feymarsh, this is going to be one of the higher tier locations for treasures.
Very nice play here from Dnarii there, just finding the trap chest in Feymarsh and just going to reset out so that he can safely loot everything else in here on the way to the free key item.
Yeah, early chest there means you're going to loot everything, and I wouldn't be surprised if even if you found the chest later, it'd still just reset out and loot everything, because you're going to find some nice items. That black belt is definitely a good one. We might see a few others. Headband is also nice. Might see a defense sword. Might see a white spear for a potential cane or Cecil down the line.
And we see coffins, star veils, and one other thing there in the Tamra shop from DShmoo.
Star veils in the underworld now is a sort of enigma. There will be star veils on the overworld, because that is one of the items that cannot be only gated in the underworld, because they're sort of very useful. But also finding the cursed ring in one of the chests here in the Land of Summon Monsters, that's very good for agility manipulation and making sure your characters are running a little bit faster than they would normally, compared to how the game sort of attributes itself to speed.
Dnarii, meanwhile, has everybody's favorite drain spear in the inventory, and also found a vanilla rat tail in the free Feymarch chest.
More importantly, there were those sirens I was talking about. Now, picking up some of those, just even if you do one or two, I would say do three, just to get virus on Rydia right now. Now, just make everything else easier, and there's an objective.
This seed is looking quite good for our players so far. They know where one of the objectives are. They know that sirens are available. The only question is, are they going to fill out their parties before they start popping some of those sirens?
Very good question. There is a free character up on Mount Hobbs. There is also the free randomized summon that you get up there for Rydia. And there is a character in Baron Inn. So you might want to pick up a second character that can make use of those sirens. And Rydia alone, yes, you do want that. But having a second one just to make it easier later down the line isn't a bad idea. Sid can make use of the levels, but not as much as most other characters.
That's for sure. And we see DShmoo taking advantage of that shop, as you said, getting sirens to go along with the coffins that he already purchased, the little old 1-2 punch for leveling the party very quickly.
Yeah. DShmoo walking up to the imps, looking them in the eye and saying, "I'll be back for you later."
Yeah, that's you may be able to get some cheeky coffins off on that fight, but with only 2 characters and quite a speedy boss location, that's just not going to happen right now.
Yeah, it's not going to happen with these 2 alone, but the Dark Imps have a lot of weaknesses, mostly to some of the status effects. They're enemies that don't have the boss bit, which blocks a lot of statuses such as Stop, Toad, Mini, all of which are very good at stopping the Dark Imps' physical attacks.
Now that we've gotten some of those free checks in the underworld out of the way, Dnarii is falling back on the old standby of Damsian Armory.
And sort of getting rewarded. There's a cat claw there. That's a good bit of money if you don't want to use it for a yarn that you find. And there was also a self summon, so Rydia can make use of that once she's got 25 MP or more.
Yeah, we do have the Silph glitch on as the vanilla game had. So as long as your Rydia is not in the center slot and you have enough MP to cast it, Silph will not actually consume the MP needed.
Probably going to Hobbs next. Might not even check the summon there. Silph should be more than enough for Dnarii. You don't really need the extra bit. Finding out who is up on here could be very useful. We do have a starter kit which gives you a dwarf axe, those rune rings that our runners have made use to sell, a few life potions, cure 2 potions, and a few other nice goodies, but the majority of these things will be found and utilized.
Yeah, and we can see on Dnarii's side, Sid getting a little beefy equipment rise, has a strength ring, and that belt that we saw earlier going to be getting some good hits in.
Don't really want to go up there with just one hit point on your characters though, so he is going to make use of one of the tents that he's got.
Yeah, it's very easy to forget when you do those quick Sylph and Feymarch free item dives that you do come out with 1 HP due to the damage tiles.
DShmoo has also found the items in that Damsian and Treasury, and we've got a Teller and Evil Wall up on Mount Hobbs. Teller's a great character, but not one of those people you'd want to throw some of that experience on from them sirens.
Yeah, we also need Mount Ordeals in order for Tella to achieve his full usefulness, and that's 3 bosses. So it hasn't been super popular to play Ordeals during this tournament, but with Tella in your party, it becomes a little more attractive. So we'll have to see if Dnarii decides to go there now to take advantage.
Yeah. Sid, though, being able to do a whole lot of damage with that Wolf Axe, yes, it makes him slower, but it gives him extra strength, and it's got a fairly good attack power. So easily takes down the wall. DShmoo did check the Hob summon, and it did give you Shiva. Good thing about Shiva, ice damage. Fairly strong power, especially early game. Bad thing is it doesn't actually clear the ice that's actually on the mountain. You have to exit and re-enter just to get rid of it.
And we also have a little bit of interestingness going on here. We see Sylph definitely being used. That is going to be a major part of the early game, I suspect. And a couple of rune rings were saved by Dnarii, so that's going right there on the sage himself.
Yeah. Sylph being learned, and there was a Lilith rod found by DShmoo somewhere. I believe that was in Tomra, so I don't believe Dnarii has that available to him. But extra magic power for Rydia there. There's the headband and the black belt on Sid just makes that extra power that he's getting with the Dwarf Axe and Strength Ring even more so, which is why he was hitting in those 500s.
Yeah, and we should mention how nice it is to see Evil Wall this early in the seed. This means that you're not going to see Evil Wall at a much tougher boss spot later. Same for these Magus Sisters. Very nice to see them in Antlion Cave versus later at a boss spot with higher magic damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rydia does not have enough MP at the moment to cast Sylph. The big thing about Sylph, as was mentioned earlier, we do have the glitch on that makes her the Sylph cost 0. However, it doesn't work if you're in the middle slot, which is why Rydia is currently in that center top spot. But you also do need 25 MP to cast it originally, and it will just cost 0 after that.
Yeah, and Dnarii showing off here. This boss spot has 1,000 HP total, and you can see divided between the Magus Sisters, Cindy still has 500 of it, so she has like half of the total HP that the Magus Sisters get.
Yeah, Cindy is the linchpin behind all 3 of those. She is the one that will revive the others if you leave them long enough. She is the one that has the wall placed onto her to make her tougher. So don't sleep on Cindy. She also hits very hard in some locations.
Now, you may think with that hook pickup, hey, we already have the magma key, we've already been underground, but this is actually still useful because we did find a rat tail already that can lead to a key item, so we can expect Dnarii's going to go check that right away.
Yeah, and it is part of the trade away the pink tail objective, so it is a requirement.
If only our white mages could have the most HP in the party like Cindy does. That would be fantastic.
It'd be interesting, but I'm happy with Cindy just being the big beefy one, and unfortunately, I think Teller cast Fatal through the recall, and it got reflected back because of that reflect spell, that wall spell, onto Rydia. DShmoo619 Rydia is not having a good day. Still level 1, while Dnarii's is coming along quite nicely so far.
And we get to eliminate another double dip here. Dnarii has found the tower key from that rat tail turn-in, so very nice to know that you're not going to have to go to the tower twice now.
Yeah, and it's also a nice peek in one. If you don't want to check the boss this way, or the character this way, we likely will, because it's really early. You wouldn't mind a 4th character, and especially since this could be Edge or Fu, you can check what the boss in the Rubicante spot will be up the top of the tower.
And here we go, Dnarii going for some treasure chest checking in the Cave of Lana. There's only one trap chest here, the Stalemen, which can be quite deadly due to their sleep effect on hit and their high defense. So never pass up the shops here, though. They're quite good. There's some more Bacchus.
Yeah. This is the only shop that guarantees 2 of the rarer tier 5 items in S standard, which is the setting for shops that we run under with this particular tournament, and that means those Bacchus wines, those Hourglass 2s, are the rare items.
And we can expect Dnarii's going to probably check a lot of the treasure in here. Oh, nope, does not want to. Didn't check the pot in the end either. Just wanting to see the character, I'm guessing.
Yeah, not wanting to risk picking up the Stalemen chest, having to redo their buying and selling their purchases there. Might save and check a few more on the way out, but also that teller's there. We might just exit straight away. Edge, you enjoy seeing an Edge.
Yeah, you love to see Edge here. Not so much that Lunar Sparkle, so it's a good thing we already have the Magma Key, I gotta say that.
Yeah, what that Edge, what that Lunar Sparkle could be Wyvern, and it just, even though you don't know what boss it is, you at least know it's not required, because we're looking for Dark Imps, which we've already found, and Mylon on. So you know you don't have to go back there, even if it's so you can sort of hopefully take off Wyvern or go Pogo off the list. You're not going to take it off completely, because you don't know what that boss is, but you know one of the harder bosses in the game could be gone.
And we see here this Edge just starting with a Poison Claw. We saw Dnarii loot a chest up there, so I'm guessing now that he has seen the character and decided to keep that Edge and has saved, we might see some more treasure checking here in Cave Avalon.
Yeah, and this is one of the higher tier locations for treasures, so we might see a few decent things come out. You definitely want some better equipment for Edge. We've got some good things. We've got with the black belt we've found, the headband we've found, but you wouldn't mind, say, a long blade or ninja katana coming out of one of these chests to just build up his power even more. Heck, you might even, with these hourglasses, you might just say, okay, let's try this chest, see if we can pull a Mazamune out of it, just for the heck of it.
Now, we have seen an Earth Wrench, or Earth Hammer, I guess I should say, even though they shared the same icon, and a Crystal Armor. That's good cash.
Yeah, and that Earth Hammer is definitely of use for Sid. Instead of having to rely on the Dwarf Axe, the Earth Hammer also gives you strength, so you're able to use it without the agility penalty.
Yeah, and we can see those hourglasses definitely paying back here. Going to get a decent amount of experience from this Steelman chest. And in this flag set, the only way to get tier 7 items is trap chests. So Dnarii's fishing for sure here.
Toad on Rydia, one of the good ways of sort of bringing those dark imps down to size a bit later. Finding a life staff, not really a great use for the characters here. Rydia can use it at the moment, but it's not one of her ideal pieces of gear. I have noticed though that we found a tiara and a black robe in here. Dnarii has a change rod, so Rydia is stacked with a lot of wisdom increasing gear now. So those sylphs are going to do very well. Once she's up to virus, she's going to be hitting in the 2000s. DShmoo has a Lilith rod, which is doing the same checks that Dnarii has, so he's going to have the same equipment. So both these Rydias are looking really well set for this early game.
Yeah, we can see here that going out of their way into Cave Evelyn is really paying off for these players, both in the items and in the edge pickup.
Yeah, Edge doesn't have a whole lot equipped to him right now, but this is still early. We can still find some of these good items, and if they want to just check some of the weapon shops, long blades are usually available, and they only cost 11,000 a piece, so getting 2 of those is very easy.
Dnarii now showing us here at Fabul Ashura. Very nice to see Ashura here, where there's not too much HP to deal with.
Yeah, Ashura will counter pretty much anything that's directed against her with a simple punch, and in some locations that punch can be fairly effective, and she is on a cycle with Cure 3, Cure 4 and Life. You really want her to stay on that life phase so she doesn't do it. Cure 4 will cure her to full. Cure 3 in this spot doesn't cure a whole lot, but it can be annoying and prolong the fight. But through it very quickly.
And we will be getting the Sheila check here from Dnarii as well. So this is kind of a 2-for-1, very nice play. And from the king, we do get a pass. All right, so that's not nothing.
No, that's not nothing. Want to explain why that is definitely not nothing?
Well, we don't have any objectives that are forced to be on the moon this time. So if we get lucky and our players can get 4 of these objectives done on Earth, then they don't have to go through the lunar subterranean to access the final boss. They can just go to Troya, use the pass, and go straight there.
Yeah. Because that pass does create a shortcut to Zeromus, to the final boss.
And aren't picking up a short sword here as well.
Yeah. Short isn't really the greatest weapon in the world. It's Edge's basic katana, but it's definitely better than a poison claw. We did get the Luca key from Sheila for her first item. We won't find the second one out until we've returned the pan to her after bopping Young on the head with it. But Luca key does give us access to a semi-popular hated grind option with the evil doors, the trapdoors. But it also gives you another chance of a key item and a boss at the end of it, if you're willing to sit through them both.
Meanwhile, Dnarii is going to go up ordeals to unlock telespells here and fish for a key item, and 3 bosses worth of experience. We're looking here, basically Actually, this is pretty good with 2 boss hunts. We do know where the Dark Imps are, but we haven't found Mylon yet. So 3 bosses is good to check.
Well, you might have just said the magic word. Nope, wrong Mylon.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we can't summon Mylon the same way we can summon Dnarii through saying trapdoors.
Trapdoor's good. Love the doors.
Mylon in this spot, though, is a joke, really. This spot has one of the weakest attack powers in the game, and Mylon really just says a little word, then punches. He may poison on occasion, but with a with a fire, with a fire earth hammer which does fire damage, with Rydia with Sylph easily taken down. And on the other side, we found Mylon. So apparently, you did summon him.
This is not a drill. Objective 5 is about to be fulfilled by Dnarii with this French vanilla Mylon.
Yeah. So again, I've been proven that completely wrong, and that people can summon things with just saying it. Right? Okay.
Is it the commentator's curse if something good happens?
No, I believe that's the commentator's blessing. If it's with, if it's one of the more dangerous bosses, Mylon really isn't. Then it's the commentator's curse.
Chat, do it for me. If you're subscribed, get your free and bless in the chat.
It does mean, though, we have found Mylon, and is just about to be completed by both our runners, who are both climbing ordeals, and we have found the Dark Imps. So we are only really a Twin Harp, there's 2 pieces of Forge, and the Pink Tail away from having go mode, really, because we have a way to Zeromus. We've got Sirens. We've got a lot of things ready for our runners to make a very quick work of this seed.
Yeah, if we're lucky, we're only 2 key items away, and basically with those Sirens in hand, our players know what they need to do to beat those Dark Imps now, so there's really that's not going to be probably too big of an issue.
Dnarii is just about to give us a check of this, and that's a Legend Sword.
That is half of Objective 2, so not too shabby.
Yeah, and that means we are 3 key items away, 2 of which are required to finish getting yourself ready. And Dark Knight here, what is this ordeals? Sure, the Mylons were backwards, but this is pretty much a vanilla ordeals.
Listen, when it's time to say justice is not the only right in this world, someday you will see. It's just that time.
Snape D has done it now. He's invoked the wrath of someone.
We can see on DShmoo6's side, Sylph really getting some sick hits on Mylon.
Yeah, with the amount of wisdom increasing gear that our runners have, Sylph is doing a lot of work. Edge is doing a lot of work. Sid is doing a lot of work. Teller's there, but he's not there. He's mostly there for things now after this point, after you've picked up his spells again and from completing ordeals. Now he's got his virus, he's got his tier 3 spells, he's got his berserk, which is going to be really useful here. So he's going to start contributing, and I believe Baron Inn is likely going to be our next location, because another character check, another key item check here. want to fill out that team, want to find one of those last 3 remaining pieces.
Yeah, right you are. At this point, I'm very keen to fill out the party and start popping some eggs for sure. We see Dr. Luge here in the first spot, gonna go down very quickly like a house of cards. All that HP split among 2 fights. It only has like 400 and something HP to begin with, so this is gonna go quickly.
Yeah, the pieces are only going to have less than 150 each at max. This particular part of Dr. Luge, the metallic part, has the most, and even that goes down in one shot. Poor as the character, though, I would definitely say I'm liking this team. If we've got a little jet seed on our team, and we've got a very well-rounded team, sure, with like a little bit of extra strength on edge with a few better equipments, but we've got a white mage, we've got a black mage, we've got Teller who's a bit of everything, got a bit of utility. We've got a fairly heavy hitter in edge and a high hitter in Sid. This isn't a bad team to just continue on with if you're going to find the end of this seed very quickly.
Yeah, I agree completely. If it draws on, it might be nice to be able to replace Tella with Fu, but otherwise not too bad. And Dnarii making short work of that Ogopogo. That's going to reveal a key item here, and it's just a Dragoon Spear, unfortunately.
Good, very good weapon for Kane. Unfortunately, we don't actually have a Kane available right now. So, next location. I'm thinking in our runners are going, because we're 2 out of 3 items away, I think our runners are going to keep it simple, check the easiest places that they can, and maybe check a couple of spots for demist to get that potential key item. But I think that the dwarf castle will be next on the list. There's 2 bosses there, yes, but there's a character and a key item at the end of it, and it's fairly easy to get through them both, especially with this team that we've got here.
Yeah, I think it's probably a toss-up between Dwarf Castle, and with the tower key in hand, it does make a lower tower a little bit more attractive. The bosses are somewhat harder, but the top boss at least. But we can see a Dnarii actually, going back to Feymarch.
This is for the objective. He's got hourglasses from Cave of Balana. He's going to stop the Dark Imps in their tracks, maybe even mini them or toad them just for good measure, and then just let everything happen and then just finish that. It's an objective, it's a potential key item. I like this play. Get that second and get that number 2 out of 4 done, and potentially get the route on for the next one.
Yeah, I like the play as well. It is a bit of a gamble because you don't know if you need the other boss down here, and I don't think Dnarii has the party power yet to beat that one.
No, I think this is really a big shout out for going and getting the Dark Imps done before anything else. The other boss, yeah, you might have to come back for it later, but there's always the potential that you don't, and you're coming down for exactly what you need and no more.
And here we see it was only a matter of time before we saw Cursed Ring Sid or Cursed Ring Tella. In Dnarii's case, it's going to be Sid holding down the anchor in the middle.
Yeah, and with Yang as the boss in the Leviathan spot, you're not going to come down here unless your characters are really well powered, because that spot hits hard, or you just wait. Or you wait until you get a Cecil. Unfortunately, the Dark Imps are very punchy today.
Yeah, the party's not fast enough here. We saw Rydia was queuing up, but not fast enough. I think it's going to take item usage. You can't really wait for cast time here.
Yeah, you definitely do need to just throw that hourglass out. Let Rydia's second turn be a spell, or let Teller do it, and then throw those, or just throw those coffins afterwards.
There we go. Setting the battle speed to 6 allowed that to happen, and they're still going to get a round of punches off, but you have plenty of time to resurrect the party now that they're going to be stopped afterwards.
Yeah. Plus, with Teller having done ordeals now, he does have access to the weak spell, which will put the Dark Imps into single digits, and that way, a one hit will just finish them off. But instead, going the berserk route, letting Edge just throw his weapons at the enemies, while Paul raises everyone up.
And we can see DShmoo taking the opposite tactic, is going to crack a few eggs first. I wonder which one's going to pay off more, because we can see Dnarii either doesn't have coffins or is deciding not to use them on these Dark Imps, which is going to come into play for cracking eggs later.
Yeah. Thinking about it though, Dnarii has not gone to Tomwell while DShmoo did at the very start of the game. So that is potentially the reason why we're only seeing the hourglass and no other items thrown.
Now we do have to explain here, hourglasses cause the stop effect, and they're much more effective than the actual spell stop, but they do not last forever. So there is a little bit of a danger here, although the battle speed is helping quite a lot, and Berserk helps even more.
Yeah, with Berserk running, because of the way status effects are calculated in this game, as long as they is not given a chance, the hourglass effect, the stop effect, will not wear off on the enemies because it won't have a chance to resolve. But Dnarii is not taking any chances, throwing out stone, finishing up those 3 Dark Imps as quickly as possible. They're down 20,000 experience. Moving on.
Meanwhile, DShmoo's about to show us the other option here in a Dwarf Castle. We do see basically a free fight in the first one. That's what you'd like to see, since you're forced into the second fight right afterwards. And Dnarii finding a Baron key, so can go check out that one of those other free fights in a Baron Castle.
Yeah, and we definitely know now that the fight in the Baron Castle is the Baron Guards, because the Officer Soldier here, which have the same sprite on the overworld, is the Kaipo Guards.
Very nice, DShmoo getting the officer right away to ensure maximum experience from this fight.
Yeah, making use of those coffins that he's picked up early, the life glitch in the officer as well to get a little bit of extra experience. 30,000 instead of the regular 20,000 here in this particular spot. There's Virus on Rydia. Porum is getting online with Berserk already. They're going to take a bit to get to Cure 3 and Cure 4 with her, because she gets them really late, but every little bit of experience is going that way.
Get Octo Mammoth as the second fight. This is going to go down no problem. And a Fu. Ooh, what is... Yeah, goodbye, Tella.
Yeah, Teller is... If Teller's good at utility, Fu is good at everything in Magical. It comes available with Nuke eventually, if you go through enough fights. It's something that Teller does not have. Has a little bit of an extra, bigger MP pool and HP pool. So yeah, Fu is pretty much exactly what this team needed to round out.
Let's see those free end Fu-woos in chat, already equipped with the Lit 3, and down goes Octomammoth.
Yeah, Dnarii is going to take a little bit longer with this officer-soldier fight, because it does not have the way to instantly kill the officer. So it's going to be a little bit more dangerous, but this shouldn't be too hard of a fight. Especially if you get weak out or just use stone on that officer.
You know, this is pretty much the best case scenario for DShmoo as well, because by getting Fu, who's already at level 50, it's like you don't care if he misses some egg crackings. It doesn't matter at all.
Having to talk to the dwarven and guards as well, just for the heck of it, and that's adamant. Dwarf Castle pays out. That's objective number 2 completed. So both of our runners are going to be very close to finishing up very soon.
Yep, they still have to go forge, but we're just looking for an Earth Harp or a Pinktail now, and they're going to be well on their way.
Yeah, and we've got plenty of locations where that can be already. We've got the Luca Cave, we've got the 2 items on the Tower Key, we've got that Baron Key, which is behind the Imps, which I think may be DShmoo's next location to go to. So we've got plenty of opportunity for just finding that one of those items and getting ready to go face the Romus.
Ooh, Dnarii making a different choice here and replacing with Fu.
Replacing Porum with Fu? I can see the reason for it. If you're going to go with a bit more of an attacking presence and having 2 hitters and 2 casters, 2 nuke casters, eventually with Ridium and Fu, and letting Intella be your anchor, so you're not sort of neutering in your physical output with Sid being cursed. It makes sense, and it's a nice spin on how things can do. It'll be interesting to see why Dnarii is thinking this way instead of what DShmoo is going through.
It's definitely going to help in the mid game for sure, adding a lot more offense to the party. I do wonder how it's going to play out in the Zeromus fight without a dedicated white mage. Fu, of course, can do in a pinch, but has kind of MP issues in the Zeromus fight, as well as a little bit smaller HP potential, we'll say, than the others.
Yeah. My only... I can see why we're going with this, because Teller does have a few extra things that Porum cannot do, such as black magic, but Porum can do pretty much anything that you're wanting Teller to do at the moment, which is really Berserk, Blink, Cure. So it's a toss-up between the 2, whichever one is better, and I really can't say which is which. Fu can be an anchor later if you want them to be. The Cursed Ring puts him down to 5 agility, and that's usually enough to have a very fast team in the Zeromus fight.
And we can see our runners are tracing each other's steps here. Dnarii now going to do the Forge, and DShmoo about to face those Dark Imps. So that's pretty much a key item parity here in just a moment.
Yeah, going straight for those Dark Imps, it makes perfect sense really right now. How you want to get that 3rd objective on the board, you want to see what's behind it. Going to find that Baron Key, going to be happy with it because of the 2 key item possibility. Then it's really who chooses what. With Luca Key and Tower Key both available as well as that Baron Key, there's a lot on the table, and any one of them could be the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a betting person, I would say we at least get one of these runners that makes it straight for the tower.
A divergence of one going to tower and one going to Baron would make sense, but we might see one also just peek into Luca Cave, just check the key item and check to see if D-Mist is there before moving on to their next objective or next key item place.
Now we can see here DShmoo taking a little bit of a different tactic. Only has 2 coffins left. Going to use both of them on the Dark Imps. Not sure what the plan is on the third one, but I would expect either a stone or a stop, except Fu is down.
Yeah. Definitely wants to be a little bit careful here. This spot, although it's not one of the hardest hitting spots in the game, is still very, very powerful. And we're seeing the results here. Their hits are in the thousands. Yes, he's through the fight now, but only a couple of people getting the experience, which isn't a bad thing. Do have sirens to make up that gap, and 1 siren is better than just the imps fight here on its own. But it's a little bit of a downer, I guess. You really want to see people survive as much as you can.
Yeah, especially since Shmoo did get off some cheeky life glitches in that fight to increase the experience level. Really, only Rydia is going to be the recipient of that.
Dnarii is heading up tower, though. Going to check what that boss at the top is. Going to check that tower key. There's a bit of experience here, so that might be on his mind as well. But I think it's more, let's get that. We're close. Let's get those 10 key items that we want for double experience, and then we'll see where we need to go after that.
Now the old question, which one first? Ooh, very nice to see elements in the cannon room.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of this play, because you don't find out the boss of the reward for this particular fight until you actually leave the tower. So since you only need 1 key item now, doing the top of tower, finding out what that is, and not having to go through the cutscene at the bottom if it's one you want, makes a lot more sense. But probably just wants to get it out of the way with. It's only a few seconds either way, so it's not too bad.
We can see DShmoo did take a small detour there just to try the Yang fight. Just wanted to see how much damage he dealt, and the answer is quite a lot.
Yeah, that spot is one of the 3 hardest hitting in the game. You on at these particular hit point levels, even Sid is. A heavily armored Sid is not going to survive a punch from Yang there.
Shmoo going to tower as well, also looking at these trap chests, trying to fish for some good weapons.
And we've got 2 sparkles facing off on the top of the tower. One of them is the Rubicante spot. Don't know what that will be. And the one that we're actually facing is Blarg.
Ooh, this is not what Dnarii wanted to see. The battle speed's not set up.
Actually, yeah. He does get a Star Veil up on Rydia. The good thing about this particular location is its magic attack is really, really pitiful. So actually getting through that fight is easy with this particular team. You've just got to make sure that your team's sort of ready for it.
Yeah, a little bit of a battle speed reshuffle so that Dnarii can get multiple Star Veils off, and this will be clinched, I think.
Yeah. This is one because the magic level is so low here, though. We may very well see Fu survive the Mega Nuke. Rydia's got a very good chance of surviving it as well, without a Star Veil. But you don't really want to risk it, and plus the little bit of extra damage with the Star Veils going up is a good thing.
You see that Fu has gotten white on both players, so if you need some extra damage, it's not nuke by any means because it takes way longer to cast it, but it is a very hard-hitting magic spell.
We may very well see Rydia cast Sylph here, because Wyvern's counters summons with redoing Mega Nuke. It's a little bit weaker, but with walls up, it's safe and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, part of the idiosyncrasies of this game is that a lot of the enemy scripts basically modify enemy stats before certain moves. So Wyvern does get kind of stat adjustments when it's actually time to do the regular Mega Nuke, but does not get that adjustment for the counter nukes. The same sort of thing can be, how would we say this, exploited in the Zeromus fight as well, which we'll get to once our players are on that final battle.
Yeah, but you sort of, to answer something in chat, yes, Wyvern will counter summons with Mega Nuke, but it's not as wide a tactic as you may think. So it's not. It may not be utilized by some people. Or Dnarii may not even be aware of it. Some of the things that some people take for granted and know just aren't known by some of the other members of the community in some races. So it may just be a gap in knowledge that Dnarii isn't able to exploit. Right? But we'll see when we get. We might be able to ask that of him later and see how he feels about it. He may not want to do it because he doesn't like it.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate timing as well. Wyvern finally got to the reflect part of the script, and Dnarii had already queued up some spells. So 3 characters down, not getting experience once again. Only Rydia really benefiting.
Just an hourglass free though.
That is a berserk on Fu though. Nice to see, and a cure 4.
Yeah, Fu does take a while to get fully online. He gains his experience. He gains his spells and hit points through boss kills. 3 spells and 100 hit points per boss. So it takes a little bit of time to get him. Not too long, but it's just a way to make sure he's not overpowered from the very start that you get him.
Dnarii now heading down. We're going to see if this tower pays off at all, really.
Well, DShmoo did have a little bit of an issue with that Wyvern. Has reset out, was a little bit lower down the tower but when they did their save, and is walking all the way back up. Second time's the charm usually with Wyvern though, because the first time you never usually expect it.
Yeah, with Cursed Ring Sid available, it definitely makes it nice. You really don't like to see Wyvern when you don't have a Curse Ring and or you're on vanilla agility and stuck with a kind of a semi-speedy Cecil.
Yeah. Nothing really of use in the tower though, but a Mazamune for Edge. We were saying we wanted some weapons for him. There's a very good one for him. And Dnarii hitting the sweet spot.
Yeah, I don't blame this play at all. I would much rather face 2 mid-level bosses here in Baron and get 2 potential key item checks than try to go after any of the moon yet, especially since there's no way to get to the moon. So at this point, Baron...
What I mean by the sweet spot is he hit the spot just by the going up point of the underground to overground and landed.
Oh, the crater landing.
Yes. The Baron play makes perfect sense to me, for all the reasons you just said. But yeah, it's sort of a landing of shame, unfortunately.
I would love to see the sealed cave pay off at this point, and for Shmoo to check it first. I would love to see it.
Yeah. Lucky Cave and the Sealed Cave is one of those checks that not many people actually go and do early, but it's just got as much of a key item check possibility as all the others. So going to just check it just to make sure if it's the item you want isn't a bad idea, because you can reset out of it very quickly. It's what, a minute and a half tops if you want to check the boss as well. Now, sure, it's a long walk, but it may just be that item you need, that twin harp, that pink tail, to get the go mode.
Dnarii is about to make short work of these guards.
Utilizing another hourglass, just make sure they're stopped. They can do some terrible things. They counter physical attacks with Mini. They counter magic attacks with Piggy. But in this spot, it shouldn't be too hard to deal with. Fu, a Quake from Fu, Edge going ham with that new Mazamune of his. Yeah, this shouldn't be too long.
All right, chat, who do you think is going to be sitting on the throne of Baron?
Well, it can't be Wyvern, and Wyvern's a very prime candidate, so I'm going to go with Golbez.
Now who's getting the comment? If it's Golbez, it's oof.
Dnarii, noticing Wyvern Standard Time is not the current time zone for this location, turning it back to battle speed 1. Well, I wasn't too far off in the boss order.
Everybody loves Cal Cabrera. This will be a quick Quake or Titan, and they're gonna all go down.
Yeah, you do really want to finish these off quickly. You never want to see the big doll appear, which happens when the cows are alone. I don't know if it actually works when the Brenners are alone. I'm still... because the Brenners are usually very quick to die. But the cows are alone now. They could summon the big doll. They're not going to. Titan says, bye-bye.
Yeah, if these dolls had appeared at a harder location, you may have seen some antics, because the blue doll do not have the boss bid set, so you can stop them to make them not do that. So we have an Edward here. I don't think Dnarii is going to take him. Spoonward is possible in this flag set, but it's a little too late to... Oh, whoa.
Dnarii is the hero of a lot of people's minds right now. Whether that's a good or bad thing, we'll see when the Baron Pot gives us a spoon or not. But he's made a few people in the chat very happy.
Well, there is still quite a bit more levels required to beat Zeroma, so you can get your Edward online. There's no adamant armors, unfortunately, but a spoon would be quite nice.
And if you don't happen to get it, you happen to get the Twin Harp or Pink Tail here, at least you've got a very decent anchor right now. Or a replacement in the in the Tower of Zot right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to chase a rabbit hole, one that has 2 characters in it as well is not too shabby.
Setting Edward up in that center spot definitely looks like he's going to be setting his agility anchor at this moment in time, at least.
Meanwhile, DShmoo619 not too far behind, only 2 boss battles behind. Dnarii heading back in to check the Odin spot.
High level location. Fu should make this fairly simple to get through. but this can be quite heavy hitting, and depending on what the boss is here, a magical boss is really dangerous in this spot. Val is not light here.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt. The good thing about Val is since we don't have Kane, she will never come out of the tornado mode, which is actually not great because it doesn't look like she's going to be able to be hit very easily. But at least she punches less when you don't put her out of that.
Yeah, and this spot does hit both punch and cast magic fairly hard. Edge can do damage in this spot. Sid can just as well, but this spot has something like around 23,000 hit points, and if you're not hitting for more than 1,000 each time, this is going to take a very long time to beat. And if you don't put blinks up, that happens, your fighters go down and you don't do damage at all.
Yeah, I don't blame Dnarii from resetting out of that. It could be possible to beat that fight, but it would be time consuming. So why not just check the Earth Crystal, come back later when you have more levels? I agree with this choice completely.
Yeah, and he's currently on 9 key items, so he's only 1 key item away from having 10 to double up his experience gain, and that means he can get experience quicker, get hit multipliers on, so that Val is much easier to deal with. There is the treasury check available, but I don't think we're going to see anyone check it because we're an hour in, we've done a lot of looting already. I don't think we're going to see people really want to check it because your inventory is clogged enough already, I feel.
Yeah, with the fact that you can't get tier 7 items from anything except trap chests, it makes the armory much less attractive. And as you said, we are quite far in, and any time spent looting now is potentially giving the match to your opponent.
A good barometer of what I feel is a good time is being able to go up to the moon at around about an hour in. That's when I aim to be having moon access and going up there. If there's a bit more on the Earth, which there has been in this particular seed, sure, it's going to take a little bit longer, but moon at an hour is usually my feeling of saying, okay, I'm on pace. So my Earth crystal check at this point would be a definite no because I'm behind that pace.
DShmoo, a quick goodbye to Edward there. So we'll see how their strategies change now that Dnarii has picked up Edward and DShmoo has not.
Dark Elf in this particular location, the Mega Sisters spot, around 9,000 experience, 9,000 hit points here. It's about 4,000, 5,000 split between the humanoid form and the dragon form. So it's going to make a couple of hits, but shouldn't be too hard to deal with. If Fu, of course, just making work of everything.
DShmoo is picking up some time here, has decided not to check the Odin spot yet, so, but is going to check the treasury, it looks like.
Some people just want those items, though. So DShmoo is going against my thinking and a few other people's thinking, but if they want items, this is a very good place for it.
Wait, that treasury!
Oh, and we do see a lot of money in this treasury so far, and that could be what DShmoo is going for. We know that sirens are going to be the way to gain levels, and with quarter cell on, you do need quite a lot to get the sirens that you need for the full boost.
Yeah, a lot of good mage gear though. Oh, 2 Stardust Rods, 2 Sorcerer Robes, to go along with the items already picked up. That Rydia and Fu are going to be well on their way for doing, for being able to cast everything you need.
Yeah, I like the mage gear, and I like a lot of the money makers. We saw crystal armor. That's just top tier money right there.
Palom and Sid up on top of the Tower of Zot, both dismissed by Dnarii. So looking for sure that Edward is going to be the agility anchor, and also settled that Rydia is going to be their Black Mage today. Palom dumped because of it.
CPU in the wrong place. Same tile set, different place.
You're not completely wrong there, but that orb that was hanging above Sid just a moment ago, that was actually CPU. It just dropped and wandered over to you.
I like it, and I'm so glad that graphic changed from the original where it was an axe. Works out to our favor here.
I think we've got a meteor being cast by Fu at this moment in time, so raise your hands up in the air.
Swag rocks, swag rocks.
As long as he doesn't kill the attacker and defender again to make them destroy him with Glow 199, but here come the rocks. There goes the CPU.
It had gotten queued up before the smaller orbs were resurrected, which is why it didn't hit them, but they will be made short work of by this Berserk Edge.
Yeah. Getting set up as well, getting the experience. Again, you're not really too worried about who gets it at the moment, and you're really looking for that key item that's wanted for that go mode, that twin harp, that pink tail. You can worry about experience afterwards.
Our non-existent Rosa is about to learn Exit. Even if we were to find her at this point, I'm not sure that she would be taken. Maybe Dnarii would, because, as we said before, is lacking like a true white mage. But DShmoo, I think, would not.
Yeah, the later you go in these particular seeds, the tendency has been the less you want to pick up new characters, because there is no catch-up experience mechanic. So we're likely set on our teams for the majority now. The only difference may be a Cane to pick up that Dragoon Spear instead of the Sid, or Cecil to go with that Light Sword instead of the Sid. But mage-wise, I think we're set.
I don't remember which player did it, but one of them sold the lightsaber actually already. But we see Dnarii here is hoping that Val at Odin is not required, and is opting to go to the sealed cave first before trying to tackle her again.
Yeah, this is one of 3 key item locations left for this Darkness Crystal. So it's here behind that Yang in the Feymarsh, or the Valvalis in under Baron. But he does have 10 key items now, so likely if this doesn't give him what he wants, he's going to do the grind and then worry about what he's got to do next.
Yeah, absolutely. If I know that those 2 bosses, one of them is the way forward, I'm definitely leveling at this point. Especially because, after that, it's going to have to be the moon or a rabbit hole here. And you want to have levels and not have to struggle through those fights.
We may even see this fight be very dangerous and you have to do something else. But there's our Darkness Crystal. We do have a way to the moon.
Ooh, let's see what the boss is that's guarding this one. This could be bad for our players.
Mom Bomb. This isn't so bad. This bot is very fast. However, its attacking prowess isn't the best. So you're not really too worried about it. You do want to berserk up your fighters as quickly as possible, though, so they can eat into Mom Bomb's fast turns.
We can see Dnarii putting Edward on the floor to remain at low agility levels. Looks like that is what he wanted the Edward for. No other reason. Just hug that floor, buddy.
Yeah. Really casting Sylph, just make sure everyone's topped up with their health pools. Fu will likely be casting Nuke in a little bit now that he's berserked both Edge and Sid. And, well, after that, I don't think we're even going to see the little bombs. I think we're just going to see a Mom Bomb maybe grow into her puff of smoke and then fizzle out.
Yeah, in the randomizer, the Mom Bomb gets an extra 10,000 health to make up for the split, but this deep into the game, it sometimes doesn't matter.
And Mom Bomb has been defeated by fairies. Dnarii would be proud.
The Sylphs just heard about Yang's struggles with them on Mount Hobbs and decided to go for the kill.
With Rydia being available as well, we do have access to the warp spell, so getting out of here isn't a slog of a walk. Instead, just going to teleport backwards.
Can you imagine if this Valvolus at Odin has the pink tail?
Yes, I can. it would put DShmoo right back in the lead, because I think Dnarii is going to ignore this location, and as well as that the Yang in the Fey Marsh, and go straight to the moon next.
Yeah, a haunted moon would be extremely unfortunate for Dnarii at this point if he goes to the moon, as we expect he will.
Yeah. And these runners have been so close that one decision is going to break this up. DShmoo is getting through this fight very well right now, and looks likely to take it. Not guaranteed yet, because Valvolus is a pain in a lot of locations, but has two ways to blink up the characters. Just needs to have your berserkers survive.
No, the only way this Valvolus doesn't lead to something additional for DShmoo is if she happens to have the spoon. Or the Sand Ruby, actually. I forgot we had not found that yet.
We still got the pan available to pick up, but that's 2 key item checks, and will take a little bit longer, but it's still a potential thing for being picked for DShmoo to have, I suppose.
Well, depending on which way Dnarii goes on the moon, if he checks the Value Cave first, or if he checks the Lunar Palace for the character, you may be able to see who our second to last possible character is here.
We very well may be seeing a grind if he's got any more hourglasses available as well. We've got those sirens, we've got Fu with Weak, we've got some very good recipients of experience here in Edge and Rydia, so we may see a bit of a grind here just to shore up levels to make the moon a little bit easier to deal with.
And we can see here on DShmoo's side, this fight is tough, and he's using all his resources here, getting blinks, getting re-berserks, getting lives off. the petrifies are going to start to become an issue. This is exactly why Dnarii faded this location.
And hit point totals now again really low. So
we have Blue Robe and Cave Bahamut.
this could be really quick or could take a while.
Oh, the free water hag. Very nice play checking this from Dnarii.
It's free, but you do need to make sure your attacks are going in constantly because this bot has one of the highest hitting attack powers in the game. So a hit will likely take out one of your characters.
Next up in incomprehensible decisions that the Final Fantasy IV developers made. They gave high attack power to a spot that never physically attacks in the vanilla game.
Edward did get experience there, but I think that if this is nothing, Dnarii was saying, I will reset out. And a white spear is definitely not what you want.
Oh, goodbye. That's unfortunate. Would have been great for Dnarii to find something that was actually needed there.
DShmoo changing his characters around a little bit, equipping the glass helm onto Edge for a little bit more physical defense, throwing the light sword.
You know, DShmoo did check the treasury as well, which had a moon veil, so that could help in this fight quite a bit.
Oh, a moon veil would make this fight really easy to deal with. It's just see if he remembers that he's put it in there. Making sure the blinks come out a little bit more now. Now, that just changing that little position on Porum to go to the number 4 slot. Just lets her get a bit more speed to get those blinks up. Likely will be prioritizing that before or actually going in with the Berserk on Edge this time.
Yeah, we can see DShmoo going in heavy with these darts. This is a situation where, like earlier with their limited inventory items earlier in the game, where to use the coffins, where to use the Bacchus, our players on these flag sets have to know when to use their items and when to hold them for later challenges. And at this point, Valvalis is one of the biggest challenges remaining. So I like that DShmoo is just getting rid of these throw items here.
Do need to be a bit careful. That is to petrifies on to Edge, so would need to heal, but that was already queued up, already ready, and he's ready to go a little bit more ham again.
Shmoo definitely playing this correctly, getting the blinks up, getting the heals, using the white mages / Fu as needed. It's a very nice. You just have to eat the weeks. There's nothing to be done about that. But making sure your characters don't get petrified, you really have to keep on top of that because it's hard to tell when they're on the second to last step.
Yeah. And as long as they, as your characters are blinked, they're not going to be hit. So low hit points is not an issue.
You gotta know when to bail on. Know when to bail on, know when to zerk away, know where to run. Lyrics, copyright, fantastic on it, chat. Thank you.
There's not many instances of running in this game at the moment. Still, DShmoo is through Valvalis and is going to get the reward, and it is a sword that no one can use. Complete
waste of time for DShmoo.
Yeah, we have not seen Ain Cecil, we have not seen Kane. We haven't seen Yang or Rosa yet either. So 2 of those characters will not be appearing in this seed. But that's a lot of wasted time for DShmoo, really. It's not too bad, it's good to get it out of the way, but Dnarii is definitely in the driver's seat, being already on the moon and already gaining experience this way now.
Yeah, so we pretty much know that either the Yang in the Fey March or the Moon holds what we need. So this is pretty unfortunate for DShmoo. It was a great gamble, and if it had paid off, it would have been clutch.
Yeah, it was an excellent play and well fought to get through it. Just not quite exactly what they wanted. Instead, Page and Dnarii, we're seeing trapdoors.
I like them. I always love a good trapdoor.
Interesting why DShmoo is going for this. Probably feels they're not quite ready for this particular spot, but they do have tanky items as well. And do have availability of sirens, so it's an odd choice. But if you can get through them, and you're going this way anyway, it's not a bad choice just to get a little bit extra experience if you're not confident in what's down here.
What I think is going on is I think DShmoo is now feeling behind and wants to take that Yang with the assumption that Dnarii didn't try it.
Which isn't a bad shout. No, not many people will go through that Yang, especially in that spot without a Cecil. Or a very big defensive powerhouse.
These clutch disrupt reflex. I love it.
Oh, forgot to turn the encounters on for that one.
Well, there's always more doors, right?
Yep, there's still plenty of doors. Meanwhile, Dnarii is fighting up against Pale Dim in the D-Lunar spot, I believe this is, so pretty easy to deal with. It does as defend against elemental attacks, so Sid's hammer isn't going so well, but Edge is cutting Pale Dim up as much as possible. We've got Virus on Rydia available. I don't think we've got Nuke available on Fu yet. Actually, yes, he should have Fu, but resorting to viruses at the moment.
I do believe there's one more boss kill for Fu to be at full power.
Should be at full power already with 1900 hit points. So, not sure why Nuke isn't coming out, but might be just holding back on some of the MP totals because Fu doesn't have the most MP. And I haven't seen cabins available, but Dnarii has found the Twin Heart behind that Pale Dim and is on his way down to give us music, because that will be objective 4 of 5. Has the pass, just needs a little bit more of a grind, and he'll be ready for Zeromus.
Yeah, this race, with finding that Twin Harp, this is definitely Dnarii's race to lose now. As you said, does still need a little bit more experience, I think, to be Zeromus ready. But easy to find that when you have sirens available in stores and you have your full final party, you know what you can sell to get the sirens you need. The path is laid out in front of Dnarii now to win, so we shall see what he does with it.
Heading over to Dwarf Castle. Once sirens were in Feymarsh, weren't they? What do you want here?
Ooh, has forgotten.
Looks like it's just a little slip of the memory. Sirens were found really early, like an hour and 10 minutes ago, so not really a surprise that they've been forgotten in location. And Dnarii probably just doesn't want to go down, so he's going to make do with what they've got at the moment. I think they picked up 10s, yeah.
Yeah, with 10 key items, that's going to be enough, I think, for what Dnarii needs.
Yeah. Rydia does need 1 million experience to get Nuke, but this will give 680,000, and with 10 key items and 10 sirens. So, and I believe Rydia is already the majority of the way there with doing what bosses Dnarii has done on the moon. So this should be just get ready to nuke, go from there.
Right, you are. That's basically the caster dream. You definitely want Nude for Zeromus, and you would be surprised how much it slows you down if you don't have it.
It's not bad to not have it. Rydia can do very well, especially with the gear we found with tier 3 spells, but you don't really want to sort of combo tier 3 spells with a Sid and an Edge alone for physical damage, and especially Fu, who has a very limited MP pool. So yes, this will be his grind to nuke. It's just going to be a little bit risky if he doesn't let anyone stay alive.
Yeah, Fu does not really benefit from additional levels that much, so you don't want to see egg fights with everybody dead, so we're going to see a quick pot visit, I guess.
Yeah. The issue with Edge is we found a Mazamune. We've got a full moon on him, but he doesn't really hit hard on for being a frontline fighter. It's just so you're going to crack the eggs each time at this moment at this level, unfortunately. So Fu is going to have to pick up the slack, and that does open up the way, as we just saw, for the yellow dragon inside of these eggs to pop out and just cast a few thunders and take down your characters.
Yeah, we can see Dnarii equipped that full moon way right away when we first got Edge, but it's actually in the wrong hand to properly back row glitch Edge. So I wonder if Dnarii is going to figure that out before the Zeromus fight, because if he doesn't, that's gonna cost time in the Zeromus fight for sure.
Yeah, and after putting Edge in the front row, he gets a back attack, surprised by an egg, and that puts him in the back row again.
Yeah, and going back to the earlier point, the thing with Nuke is, of course, it's the strongest black magic spell, but also in this game, it has a different sort of approach. There's basically no cast time for it, which means that if you're trying to very closely abuse the script of Zeromus in order to nerf Big Bangs or something like that, it's very nice to be able to click a spell and basically know exactly when it's going to go off, rather than doing like a white, for instance, where it takes cast time and you're not quite sure if it's going to go off before or after a Big Bang.
White having one of the longest cast times in the game. You usually, if you're doing Berserk strats, it's usually 2 cycles of attacks that happen, while Nuke will happen after the first one.
We do have a question in chat about the back row glitch. We did mention it, but we didn't explain it. Basically, when you put a long range weapon on in this game, it flips a switch that makes you back row compatible, but it never takes that switch away when you unequip the weapon. However, it does have to be in the character's main hand, and they just have to have it equipped. Even just equipping it in the inventory and then immediately unequipping it is enough. So if this full moon had been in Edge's other hand, that would be all that was needed.
There is a slight interaction with it done in battle. You do need to take an action when swapping equipment in battle, so there is you do have to delay it a little bit, but it's still the same sort of thing that happens. DShmoo, who is stopping along the way on the underground, the lunar subterranean, stopping off for some warlocks, mute belling them, bringing out some quakes. With 10 key items, this is 100,000 experience each set of 3, so very quickly should be getting the experience up. Doesn't have as many sirens as Dnarii does, so there we go.
Yeah, players have discovered a lot of different alternate strategies in order to get experience quickly, and this is just one of the ways. Knowing that mute bells, keep those in your inventory, you can nail a few warlocks rather than fishing for the gold and silver dragons that are also down here that are an experience favorite.
Yeah, one of my favorite things for this particular grind is to mute bell them, stone them, just get your experience quick. Don't worry about life glitching them. 100,000 experience if you've got enough life potions is plenty.
Unfortunately, that one didn't go down, so DShmoo619's what would have been a very clutch double life glitch just hit it while it was still alive.
Still, though, getting it on the second attempt. So this will be something. This will be close to 200,000 experience, a little bit more maybe, for this particular fight, which is very on par with a double life glitched set of gold dragons King Ryu's.
Yeah, not too bad. Dnarii is showing us Dark Elf. The second half of Dark Elf can be cheesed. It's vulnerable to weak, but the first half is very quick, and you do have to still be able to get your weak off. And ooh.
This is the first part. This is before the thing. We've already seen Dark Elf as a boss. This is just to get the music running.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So music is happening on Dnarii's side. I think we should talk all the way through it and explain what DShmoo619's doing a bit more.
And if that doesn't get you pumped up this late into the seed, I don't know what will. From Final Fantasy VII, of course. Very nice.
Am I back on? Can you hear me now? I might have been talking all the way through that, and Smapedy muted me.
Well, gotta please the fans. Gotta please the fans.
I was saying all these cool things about what DShmoo619 was doing, though. Well, no matter what, everyone's going to keep fighting for a little bit longer because the All Gauntlet is going to take a while.
That's right. The true fan favorite, Alt Gauntlet at the Twin Harp, meaning you get the harp music for a good long time. DShmoo619, meanwhile, showing he really does like this Warlock grind, opting to do it several times.
Yeah. Rydia has set up Indra. One thing about these particular things is they like lightning. They hate fire. They like lightning a lot, as you can just see. Hey.
Out of all the summons available, he chose the one that they heal from. But you know, a lot of the random encounters in this game are quite complex, and we forget as free enterprise players, because we usually have random encounters off, just like all of the attributes that are on random encounters.
And that is the interesting thing about the Alt Gauntlet. It takes the monsters from around that location, doesn't do the vanilla the vanilla fights. It takes 5 encounters from around you and throws them into a single boss gauntlet. And if you aren't too aware of those particular niche things that the enemies do, you suddenly think, oh, I've just healed this boss. Oh, I've just done no damage because they are flying enemies. There's a whole group of 6 of them. Nuke isn't going to cut it here, but it's my best option. This is going to take a while. So yeah, and the vampire bats and the cave bats here take a while to get through with their vampire attacks.
Yeah, so it may not come to a surprise to you all, but these enemies fly, so Quake doesn't hurt them.
And they absorb lightning, and fire is the best option. They don't mind ice too, but fire is definitely the best option for these particular enemies. DShmoo, though, are done with their grind, likely going to be going and doing the Paladin fight at the Lunar Water, and going to pick up their Twin Harp very shortly. This is going to be a lot closer than you might think. Dnarii is definitely in the driving seat here, but DShmoo is definitely going to pick up some time here.
Yeah, and we can see DShmoo already has the levels, so Dnarii may still need to level a bit, but DShmoo is already at the same levels, so we'll see where this goes. I don't think that I think it's still Dnarii's game to lose, but it's not an absolute lock.
Yeah, and we can see that DShmoo's Rydia has got Nuke. By the looks of the HP on Dnarii's side, might be close, but I'm not too certain if Nuke has been learnt or not. And people are saying in level 49, so yeah, needs one more level to get that Nuke on Rydia for Dnarii.
We did have a question in chat about the flying animation, the floating animation. So another idiosyncrasy of Final Fantasy IV is that the floating animation doesn't actually mean an enemy floats. So we can see that in the CPU fight is where it most comes into play in Free Enterprise, because you'll see some players get a little cheeky float off on one of these small orbs so that they can freely quake the main CPU body without triggering the globe.
I think one of the telltale signs for if they're flying or not is if there's a shadow with them. Most times you won't see it because the boss is fairly low to the ground, but there is there are a few sprites that will show a shadow underneath them, and that's usually the sign I say that they're floating. Plague has it. I believe Mylon Z has it as well, but you don't see it because he's fairly low to the ground.
Yeah, there's actually no earth element in this game, so they basically programmed Mylon to fly in order to make him immune to quake, because it wouldn't make sense if you could hurt him with it as the Fiend of Earth.
DShmoo, though, has picked up their Twin Harp, heading down to the Earth. Dnarii is going for more Sirens to pick up that level 50 on Rydia. Not going to risk it. I don't blame him. fixing up that little bit of a gap in his levels is a very good idea, I feel. But it is going to make this fight very close between the two of them.
Shmoo parking the whale at the Troya parking spot. You love to see it.
Well, you're not going to go. He's not going to pick up his Enterprise again now. When he's coming back, he's going through that pass. He's going to Zeromus. He doesn't need any more flying around.
Dnarii has secured the sirens necessary. We're going to see. This is interesting because depending on how long Dnarii grinds, this could allow Shmoo to catch up.
This should only take 2 eggs at most, 1 most likely. Really does need to survive it, but a single shot from Fu, there we go. And there's Nuke. I don't think we're going to see any more grinding from Dnarii. He's likely going to get on his airship and walk over to the pass room, well, fly over to there, then walk, and then float up to the moon to face Zeromus.
So this puts a DShmoo a full alt gauntlet behind. Dnarii has to be careful here. This has to be a clean Zeromus fight.
Did pick up Barkus Wines has got 2 very good nuke casters in Fu and Rydia. We're going to see a very typical reflex strat here. But one thing about Zeromus is that we don't move him, we don't change him really too much. But we do like to see him in lullabies. So everyone in chat is already doing that for us, so thank you very much. We will now fall asleep.
Just kidding. We're not going to go to sleep. We are going to fight Zeromus, whose sprite will be changed. So get ready, chat. We are about to see whose butt are we going to kick tonight.
And DShmoo is seeing the option that is not the thing that he didn't want to see. As much as you want, you don't mind alt gauntlet in some places. You don't really want to fight it here. The music's great, but the fights usually aren't. So Edward's going to do the one thing that he does best in this particular seed today, throw a crystal. And we're going to see who is behind the mask.
His true colors emerge. Hey,
yeah.
Doesn't look like a sniper from Metal Gear Solid 3, so I don't know what's going on here.
Either Selfie has made an appearance and doing one of her limit breaks, or we're just going to say the end and Dnarii is going to cancel out of this and just say he's won.
Oof, I was hoping for Edward to at least get to eat a counter nuke before Big Bang, but goodbye, Edward. And goodbye, Rydia, as well. Unfortunately, 1,600 health is not enough to survive unnerfed Big Bangs.
Yeah, not enough in that beforehand. Little bit of a risk now. Both all of the characters on Dnarii's side are very much in the danger zone for even a nerf Big Bang. So this Cure 4 needs to come out, and we're really relying on Edge and Sid to do the damage now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Fusoya was already reflected, not getting healed and also not going to be available to cast any spells either because we need him for the Cure 4s now.
And there's the shake. Here comes a life potion, but I think we're still in this place. We haven't done enough damage to tip Zeromus over to his next phase to cancel out that big bang. We might be lucky, but or Dnarii might be lucky, but we'll see in just a moment.
This is very, very anxiety-inducing. That I do not. This is if Dnarii pulls this out, it will be very clutch after such a rough start to the fight.
Yeah, there comes another big bang. We didn't nerf this one, so there goes everyone. This race has just tightened up a lot because DShmoo is just about to pick up his crystal. Oh, he's going to Zeromus in just a moment.
Yeah, when you
needs to make this count.
When you do reflect strats, you typically don't want to be on battle speed 1. That's most people go to battle speed 2 or 3 just to make it easier to time everything that their characters are doing, because it does require quite a bit of finesse and precision when you're doing reflect strats versus the berserker strats.
So Zeromus is 1 up so far, and Dnarii, as I said, needs to make this count. Another bad fight like that at last one, and DShmoo is going to be on top of it and going to be in front. So we'll see how Dnarii sort of makes his comeback in this particular second attempt. I don't think there's been any change in equipment or placements or battle speed, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, and the good thing for Shmoo in this situation is Shmoo did not grab Edward, meaning he is using a different anchor, but his anchor actually has enough HP to survive most big bangs, which is going to be helpful if you need like a clutch life potion to come out or an extra cure 2 or 3.
Spending a little bit of time, and that is not the spell you want to cast.
Ooh, and this is a situation where even though Dnarii entered the fight first, DShmoo may still be able to pull out a victory here, even if Dnarii doesn't wipe, which, unfortunately has happened. So now DShmoo has a chance here.
So, advantage DShmoo. Dnarii definitely needs to hopefully have things go right now, or DShmoo to just go have a bad wipe himself. This is always possible, but DShmoo's strategy is set up for something slightly different to what Dnarii's got. Reflect strategies can be a little finicky on occasion, but should be okay. I said that on Dnarii's side though, so we'll see.
Yeah, this is not a free fight by any means, but Shmoo is a little safer just due to Sid being the anchor character sitting there with 2200 HP rather than Edward at 60.
So far, Zeromus has not prophesized the end. He has for our runners. So yeah, we're going to have 2 simultaneous Z fights. Who thought about that 10 minutes ago?
This is close. It's very, very close here. We have Edge as the recipient of Reflect. Interesting strategy, but looking at the HPs, I've almost never seen Edge have the most HP in a party before.
That's what you get when you have an anchor Sid and no Cecil or Kane in sight, or Yang to be precise. Rydia taking that counter nuke is going to slow him down though, so still needs to be a little bit careful here. Porum is going to be sending out whites. Fu is going to be casting nuke, but you really wanted that little bit of extra damage that Rydia can bring in.
Yeah, you're looking. You need a little bit more than 2 nuke casts to switch. To get in before the first Big Bang, and without Rydia, you can't pump them out fast enough.
And that wasn't a nerf Big Bang. Both of our runners not nerfing in that first Big Bang a lot, so that puts DShmoo at a disadvantage again. Back in Dnarii's courts, can he finish it up this time?
My heart can't take these lead changes, folks. This Zeromus is absolutely brutal, but neither player believing that they have the time to go get more levels to make it safer. They've got to take the risky moves here.
Really, this is about as safe as you can really take it. You've got what you want. You've got what you need. It's just those little lapses in judgment, just not nerfing those first Big Bangs, thinking you can take it, and or just mis-selecting a spell, and the fight goes sideways. That's the danger with this Zeromus fight. Nothing is set in stone until you see the flash, until you see Zeromus crumble.
Yeah, it would really be nice on Dnaarii's side for any counter nukes that come out while we're nerfing the Big Bangs to hit Sid. That's what he wants.
Yeah, Sid has a whole boatload of hit points. Wouldn't mind it on Rydia because Rydia does have the wall up at the moment, but seems a little bit more secure at the moment at this time. So looks like they've got it set, but we'll see once we see the Meteor fall, because we will likely see it in this particular instance.
Yeah, Rydia is with Reflect on Rydia. You really, I believe that Dnarii still has the elixir from the original starting pack. That's going to be nice to throw here if he's still got it.
Yeah. Would be nice for Rydia, but I think it would be a better choice to say for Fu. Make sure he's got a full set of MP for emergency heals, because he is casting Nuke a lot, and Nuke isn't exactly the cheapest spell with his limited MP pool.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Fu cannot maintain either Cure 4 or Nuke for this entire fight, so you really have to decide when you want to use him for which thing.
DShmoo having another reset though, so with Dnarii set up as he is, I think we've got us a secure win for Dnarii if things don't go wrong. DShmoo would need things to happen on Dnarii's side for this to really break down in his favour again now.
We'll see what this Big Bang does to Dnarii. Looks like Rydia goes down. Ooh, it was full powered. Edge is still kind of safe. Fusoya looking bad. Sid safe. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, this is the point where you sort of have to worry. Here comes the Meteor. You want Fu to survive, and Edge is now down. This is all down to Sid.
And usually we would call Meteor phase fairly safe, but I'm not feeling good until the flash at this point.
Well, didn't see a flash because the flash effects were off, but we are seeing the crumble. The Endemus Zeromus is down on Dnarii's side. We have a victor. Going to 3 and 2, it is Dnarii with a time of 1 hour, 51 minutes and 10 seconds. He has survived for another week.
Yes, we shall have to see. Once again, Dnarii does have to win or tie. That's a finish within 3 seconds of the opponent next week in order to continue on to the bracket stage.
And we're going to see if he wants to come in for an interview. Likely he will be. And with that little bit of a bump, Dnarii has joined us. Congratulations, Dnarii. You have survived for a little bit longer. You're also muted at the moment.
How about now?
Now, I might be able to hear you. I'm not entirely certain.
Not entirely certain. Well, I'll just put it this way. When you said survived for the moment, yeah, surviving after that Z fight is about how to put it.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mismatch on the fight. Probably the pressure getting to you quite a bit.
I have been running worried since I completed my third objective. So yeah, it was one of those where I figured I was going down at any moment, and I probably should have taken a little more time on that, but, you know, I managed.
Well, it wasn't just you that had the issues, it was DShmoo as well. Both of you had several wipes to Zeroma, so we'll just say that the end was upon you.
Yeah, that was... I probably should have kept Porum and gone Magic at the end, but I thought I'd be able to pull it off with double nuke and Zerk. Yeah, that was a tight go, especially how I ended that. I did not know if I'd be able to pull it off right away or not.
Now,
Sid pulls through, something you don't usually see.
I'm thankful. I'll just put it that way.
we see here your decision to fade Vivalis after you saw how tricky it was definitely paid you back in spades here, because DShmoo had to try it twice. It did take quite a bit of time, and it only yielded an Avenger Sword.
Oh, I am so glad. No, I saw that fight. I thought, okay, well, let's see how bad this really is. No.
Yeah, and you said you was worried since objective.
Once I did once I got Forge done, it was like anything could happen at any moment at that point, and I'm like, oh, I'm hoping this isn't fast, because to be honest, I'm relatively new to this, and I was not happy with my party at the end of the game.
It's not
Who was Caliber? Where was Cecil?
Not appearing in the seed.
Yeah.
Same with Kane, Rosa, or Young. So yeah, it's not your typical party, but you got through it. It was something. So once you got your third objective, you were sort of rushing around a lot of places because you had a lot open to you, and it just didn't show up. What was your thinking in once you actually had to go to the moon?
Cave of Value first. I have seen too many times where that's ended the seed. It was nice finding Waterhag there. It was not nice what they gave me. And then at that point, it was the 2-for-1 special in the Ribbon Room. Cesar, you're going to find something there.
Okay.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy were you that the Yang at Leviathan wasn't required?
Very. How about an 11?
That spot does hit.
Yeah, I didn't want to go through that punch. That was going to hurt a lot.
So you're now 3 and 2.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, as I said, you've survived for another week. You're still in the running. One more victory, he will get you into that bracket stage, whether you like it or not. What's going to be your game plan next week?
Being this close to brackets, I'm actually probably going to start looking at what I'm going to need to do for those. Unless I get a real big curveball, I think I might be okay. But I'll keep my hand on this. But I really do need to start looking at the bracket seats now, because it's going to be quite different.
It definitely will be. Definitely don't shirk on these ones though, because you still do have to get that win or tie. Wins look much more likely though. So just definitely keep an eye on this. But we do wish you the best of luck for next week, and we'll see really what happens. And
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I want to say thank you to you guys too. I'm sure the commentary was fun. I will be rewatching this, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who's running the tournament, because this tournament has been run really, really well. Everybody, the restreamers, the trackers, the commentators, the admins, you guys are doing one amazing job.
We do have some of the best team in randomizers, as it's been said that we're the world champion of randomizers. It's not a lie, we are. But yeah, we thank you for being part of that community. Thank you for showcasing yourself today, allowing us to restream you. Very good luck for next week. Hopefully we'll see you again down the line.
I hope so too. Thank you very much. I'm going to go fall over now.
Sounds good. Do your best Edward impression.
Got it. Thank you, guys.
That we did have a finish from DShmoo with a time of 1 hour 54 minutes and 58 seconds, only 3 minutes and some change behind Dnarii. So while we are waiting to see if DShmoo will come in for an interview, I do want to send another shout out to our tracker Klopfer and Smapty, coming to you from the studio, bringing you the feed today. And with a badump, we have been joined by DShmoo. Congratulations for finishing, DShmoo. Unfortunately, Zeromus had your number. And we can't hear you, so you might be on mute.
Here. Can you hear me now?
No. Yeah. So yeah, Zeromus had your number today. I kept you from that win. Both of you had a lot of trouble with the Endemus today. It had the end in sight for you.
Yeah.
Talk us through your thinking at the end, because you must have been really shaking and thinking, "Where's the other? Where's my opponent?"
Yeah, I was definitely worried that, for starters, having pretty much full cleared Earth minus that really rude spot for Karate Man, I felt like I could easily be behind if, even if my opponent did the exact same things, but 50-50 Luca Cave, instead of that horrible Valvalis fight. So my calculus going into that fight was, well, Dart Excalibur, yada, 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 win. And it took me much longer than I thought, but once I committed, I was committed. The Z fight, the anchoring was just weird. The first time was my fault because my Sid had accidentally leveled into exactly 0 agility. And as we've been discussing a lot lately in chat, 0 agility and 1 agility are very different fights. So I went back in after throwing the Dorfax on, and that put him back at 1. And still got high rolled. So, it was rough.
Yeah, I've got to say, this isn't really a question, but I did want you to know our hearts were breaking for you when we saw that Avenger sword behind Valvalis.
I was like, I was almost thinking, well, I should walk this out for dart ammo. I mean, I should throw this out of spite.
Yeah, but at that point, when you had three objectives done, there was so much open to you on the Earth and in the underworld. I think it was Luca Key, Tower Key, and Baron Key at that point in time. That's a lot of places to go to, and any one of them could have been either Go Mode or the Darkness Crystal, and it just happened to be Luca Key. So, and both of you did it as your last thing today. So it just kept. So the pressure and your mindset just probably kept going. Where's my next item? Where's my next item? I need this item.
Yeah, and I had different plans in mind. Like if I found Pinktail, okay, well, I'm gonna run back to Tamra, buy more sirens, do an egg grind. I think I settled into mage strats when I found the Foo. I was saying to myself, well, I'm not gonna get another berserker up to where I want, and I had no weapons for edge at the time, so I was actually very relieved, despite the fact that it meant I had to grind a fair amount to get ready to nuke levels.
So
how about that? I was gonna say, how about that ordeals though?
Yeah, we made a little bit of a comment about that. We're blaming Smokey.
Yeah, that was the closest to a vanilla ordeals I've ever played in any free enterprise seed. It was off by 1.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you are now at 2 and 3. That does put you out of contention for the brackets. But outside of that, good experience in the tournament, would you say, for this one?
Yeah, no, I every time I join in, I'm never of the mindset that like I need to win to have fun. I'm sad that next week will be my last match, but I am going to take it, unless somehow I get a bye, which would be sad. And yeah, it's for me, it's just all about enjoying myself. So I had a great time, and this is no exception. I will say, I still have not yet won while being restreamed though, so there's a goal for next time.
Yeah, there's always a goal for for next time, but it's been great to have you join up and show off your skills on this. So congratulations for doing what you've done, and we look forward to I'm sure there'll be a few people that are watching you, maybe not on the restream next week, but just watching you through your own channel, just doing your best.
Yeah, well, I always appreciate when people drop in. I don't stream often. This is pretty much the only thing I ever stream. But yeah, come by and say hi.
After that, we'll let you go. Have a fall down, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone, thank you so much, Restream team, everyone in chat, and all the admins and developers. Again, this is awesome, and I love it, and I really appreciate all the work that goes into making it happen.
And thank you for joining us and agreeing to be restreamed to put on this good show. So with that, we are waiting. We have more matches today. We're just waiting to be able to send you there. But I do want to go over how the rest of this tournament is kind of working, because we are getting close to the changeover. As we've been mentioning during this match, this is the week of round 5. We will have a 6th round next week, which is the final round. And all players that do not accumulate at least 10 points by the end of that week will be eliminated before the bracket stage.
Generally, that means either 3 wins and a draw, or more likely 4 wins. So getting to those points is a very nice number. I'm still needing to get there myself. Dnarii is looking forward to attempting in that next week. DShmoo, unfortunately, is not. I also want to send a great thanks out to our restream team behind Smokey, Klopfer, Motos beside me. Being, as always, our restream teams are amazing, and I'm very happy in sending out the invitations for the particular ones when I set them up, and whoever set them up this time has done a great job. So yeah, we are going to be sending you over to another race very shortly. We're likely going to be put on hold for a little bit, but we're going to be sending you over to Randomania 2 very shortly for Martin Broadcloak versus Sorbius. And we're going to have another great restream team shouting out the action on there. Otherwise, until then, until we send that raid over, feel free to listen to the tunes and enjoy another race.